You're tuned into the Now Morning Show, Tobago Thursday edition, and we're wrapping things up on a bit of a somber note as we might be seeing Tobago losing the Rainbow Cup Triathlon, and it's a definite conversation we have to have. This morning to explore it, event coordinator Jason Gooding is joining us via Zoom to answer the big looming question ahead of the 19th edition of the iconic Rainbow Cup Tobago International. Jason, good morning and welcome to the Now Morning Show.
Good morning, and thank you very much.
Now, Jason, you yourself have had quite a bit of success, 9-time national triathlon champion. This is going to be close to your heart. I'm jumping into the conversation because it was said publicly earlier this month, despite the growth and success, it's really difficult to maintain the iconic event. How did we get here?
Just from a lack of financial support. We started off in Tobago 20 years ago with 35 people. This event now has well over, 400 or 500 people that participate, and then we have a lot of spectators who come to the event. It's a very beneficial event for Tobago, for the sport of triathlon in itself. It's the National Triathlon Championships for the standard distance. It is also the qualifying event for Carifta. So when we pick our Carifta team, it's been an event that has been, as you said, it's an iconic event. We run this thing really well. And it is, it is near and dear to our hearts. It was an idea that my dad had, and that we should have this event in Tobago because it would be a good spectator tourist attraction. Basically, you come for sport tourism, you come into Tobago, a beautiful destination, and you can have a professional event. So it's it will be a sad day if we have to lose it. I'm making a final plea, but from last year we wanted to call it quits. But I was convinced that we should try again one more time. But still, the sponsorship has not come in for this level of event. Right. If we wanted to back it down and have a smaller event, it'll be fine. But what people come to the Rainbow Cup Tobago and expect is an international event. And for me financially, I cannot sustain that unless I get sponsorship from the bodies that can support this event.
Jason, tell me a little bit as to where these funds or sponsorship needs to be directed, because you rightfully said that you run a flawless event. So you've got the team in place, you have the track record of the history of success. Were there specific spaces that we really couldn't find any sort of funding for that perhaps somebody this morning watching could step up and fill in?
It's just basically, most times when I think a lot of the focus is on, Carnival and fetting and all that stuff. So sometimes when I go to sponsors, they say they can no longer help because they've already exhausted their budgets for the event. So it's, when I always see, when you do that and you support sport, you're supporting development, you're supporting athletes who learn discipline through sport. They have to get up and train. They have to spend a lot of time and a lot of effort to get to that level. You're teaching them time management. You're teaching them that if I fail at this event, I could succeed. If I train again for the future, I could train and get better at it, which are all life skills, which are going to help in your sport. It is going to help in your lifestyle. It's going to help in your work environment. And I think sport is something that we need to emphasize a lot more in Trinidad and Tobago. And we need to have more support for it, really and truly. It's we kind of veering off to what it is. And when you have better athletes and better people that are more disciplined, what do you think your society is going to be like? You're not going to have people just idle trying to find trouble to get into. They'll have direction. For me, when I was 14 years old, I had the choice of hanging out with a bunch of friends or going and training. Right. And I chose the training option. And 29 years. I was 9-time national triathlon champion. I traveled the world because of this sport. I've gotten this. I've been to Australia 4 times. Something I would never be able to afford on my own. And because of sport, I was afforded that opportunity. And that, that's Australia is just one part of it. I traveled the world. I got a lot of experience, and this is something that if we could focus on sport and we can get more and more people involved in sports, we're going to have a better society. And I always say, develop our sport and we develop our people. Because
Absolutely. You will
it makes
continue to
sense.
do that, though, outside of the Trinidad and Tobago shores, because there is also the Rainbow Cup Grenada. And so I imagine there can be easy comparisons as to what the support in Grenada looks like in comparison to the lack thereof for the Tobago version. So perhaps we have a clear understanding of what is needed, what we can do. What are some of the successes that you've had, not just in Tobago, but perhaps in Grenada as well, to be able to sustain that vision?
Well, Grenada, we moved there after COVID, my family and myself, and so we reside in Grenada, and it is a lot smaller, a smaller population. I think where they are when it comes to sport is far off from Trinidad and Tobago. So it's what I've been focusing a lot on over here is development of the sport and getting more and more people back active. I mean, years ago, Mark Ticol from Grenada used to put on a triathlon, and they had over 200 people that would come. We had a lot of foreigners, a lot of regional athletes, a lot of kids, but then they stopped doing that, and it totally died. So 7 years later, I'm over here now trying to basically restart the sport and get people back involved in the sport of triathlon. But I do see the future, and I know that there is a future because I did the same thing in Trinidad. We started off with 35 people, and now we're it's a household name. We have a lot of people that train for this. This is there. When I was doing triathlon, you had cyclists, you had runners, and you had swimmers, and I was like one of the few people that put them all together. Now we actually have triathletes, and this is a household name. My sister Maria does a fantastic job with the Rainbow Warriors Triathlon Club, and she has close to 50 youngsters come out and train every weekend, and it's amazing to see that. And like I said, when you develop that, where you think these kids are going to go? These are going to be the young leaders, and they're going to have a holistic approach to life. They're going to know that it's not all about one part. You have to balance your life and your fitness and your health and all that stuff. And I mean, the government is going to save money by having more and more healthy people because you spend less on healthcare. And then, I mean, this goes on and on why sport is important. And the triathlon just contributes, and this Rainbow Cup Triathlon just contributes to that. It gives people that opportunity, that goal to say, hey, I want to train for this event. I want to prepare, and I want to race at the Rainbow Cup.
Definitely, I want to represent for Trinidad and Tobago because, as you mentioned, the standard distance triathlon championships would be the next step after that triathlon, and it is also the Curve Team qualifier. So there's going to be a significant void should we not be able to put this on. Before I let you continue, though, it's imperative then that we make sure people know how to connect, because somebody out there is listening and saying, you know what, I really do want to step up to that place, corporate, private, otherwise. How do we connect with you, Jason, to make sure that we do have it?
Just search Jason Gooding. I've had the same phone number since I was 21 years old. So it's or you could get in touch with the Rainbow Warriors Triathlon Club or Odyssey Timing and Events. My numbers are there, 784-4128. You could send us an email to the club. But if you go to rainbowcuptobago.com, all the information on the event is there. We've been doing this event for 19. We've been organizing events for 29 years. So I must say my team and we are spot on. I mean, we start on time. Everything runs flawlessly, to the point where I think things are going wrong. We're missing something, and but it's just because the team has been so in tune with this event, and it's just a fantastic event. So we make a plea to everybody to come down to Tobago and check it out. Come and see the event. If you've never seen this event, you'd be blown away, because it's basically an international event in Tobago. And 10 years ago, it was after 10 years, it was so hard to get the road closed off. This is a totally car-free course, thanks to the police in Tobago for blocking it off, and the community of Blackrock for supporting the event. Because now you could just come and safe. Yeah.
Well, Jason, I know, like I said, this is close to your heart, and you've certainly tugged on our heartstrings here on the Now. So I'm hoping that someone else listening outside there will make the efforts to help you continue this, lead this charge. I'm still wishing you the best of luck as we are looking for many more years still to come. Thank you for joining us this morning, Jason.
Thank you for having me, and thanks to everyone for listening. Yeah.
Of course, you guys can get involved, big or small. It's going to help us save the Rainbow Cup, and that I think is worth doing. Don't you think?
It definitely is. Still, it's heartbreaking to think that the Rainbow Cup could be no more, to say the least. Iconic. We all, I'm sure many of us, we all know somebody, our family, friends, all who've been training. Admittedly, it wasn't my bucket list.
Has the pretty medals, didn't win, but they definitely felt fulfilled, and they trained towards something, because as much as we're wrapping things up, everything comes back to it being a mental health month.
Correct.
Whether you're keeping your body moving, you're attending events, you're getting educated in terms of the political systems, no matter what you choose to do, it's enriching you. And when you do that, you're able to be your best self. This mental health month, it can't be a bad thing.
It can't be a bad thing.
It definitely can't be a bad thing. Might have seemed coincidental that we wrapped all these things together, but with all the events that we have added to your calendar, you're going to be enriched, you're going to be happy. And like we promised at the start of the show, we started off your day a little bit better as we head towards the weekend.
Yeah, getting ready for the weekend. Looking forward to it. Hoping that we can all take some time out this weekend to relax, some mental health, a mental health timeout, a mental day, as Kes would say, but maybe not necessarily. And that way, just relax, look after yourself, and get out and get some movement. You know, just going back to one of the things that Jason said that really struck me was the fact that investment in this now also means cost cutting with healthcare in the future, which is something to think about, not just in the grand scheme of things for our country, but even for you yourself when it comes to your healthcare, because trust and believe it's an expense.
Full circle conversations, because that community that we heard of in terms of the lupus team is definitely how we're going to enjoy.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Now Morning Show. It's been a pleasure to have you on this beautiful Tobago Thursdays. On behalf of everybody here on the show, the team behind the scenes, we appreciate you, hoping that you have a blessed Thursday, and we'll be back with you tomorrow morning for another episode of The Now. Enjoy the sweet sounds of jazz as we get ready to face the day.